It was a rainy Thursday evening when I first saw her, a blur of movement beneath the dim yellow light of our apartment hallway. I remember the sound first, the soft patter of raindrops dripping from her coat, the gentle rustle as she brushed her hair back, and the low hum of my roommate's voice from the kitchen. "Ethan, could you grab the umbrella from the door?" My roommate, Jake, called out. When I turned, she was already there, standing right behind me, her gray hoodie soaked, her eyes sharp and full of something that made my chest tighten before I could understand why. "Hi," I said, a little awkwardly. "You must be." "Don't pretend you didn't see me," she interrupted, her voice calm but with a tremor hidden beneath it. I blinked. The hallway light flickered once, like even it was unsure how to react. "I'm sorry," I asked, confused. She took a step forward, close enough that I could see tiny droplets clinging to her eyelashes. "You saw me outside," she said softly. "By the old oak tree." "Don't say you didn't." I froze. Because she was right. An hour earlier, on my walk back from campus, I had seen a girl standing under that very tree near the edge of the riverbank. She'd been crying, staring at something in her hand, something small and metallic that glimmered even in the gray rain. I'd looked at her for only a moment before passing by, not wanting to intrude. I hadn't realized then that she would show up at my apartment door. Jake walked in then, a towel over his shoulder. "Oh, you two met already. Ethan, this is my sister, Lila. She just got in from Boston. She'll be staying here for a few days." She smiled, a small, polite smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Nice to meet you," she said, as if the strange exchange moments ago hadn't happened. That night, I lay awake thinking about her words. "Don't pretend you didn't see me." What had she been doing there in the rain, alone? And what was that thing she'd been holding? The next morning, the apartment smelled like coffee and cinnamon toast. Lila sat at the counter, her wet hair now soft and loose over her shoulders. Jake was already gone for work, leaving us awkwardly alone. "Morning," I said. She looked up, her eyes gentler now. "Morning." For a moment, it felt almost normal, two people sharing a quiet breakfast. But then she caught me looking and said, "You really didn't think I'd notice you yesterday?" I laughed nervously. "You mean when you were under the tree?" Her fork stopped halfway to her mouth. "So you did see me?" "Yeah," I admitted. "But you looked upset, and I didn't want to get involved," she finished. "That's what everyone says." There was a flicker of sadness on her face that made me regret every word I'd just said. "Lila," I started, "I'm sorry if..." She cut me off with a soft sigh. "It's fine. You don't have to explain. Most people prefer to look away." She stood up, poured the rest of her coffee into the sink, and walked back to her room. For the rest of the day, her words echoed in my head. Over the next few days, I saw pieces of Lila that seemed to belong to two different people. When Jake was around, she was bright, teasing, full of energy, telling old family stories, laughing about childhood pranks. But when she thought she was alone, her smile faded. I'd catch her sitting by the window, staring at that same small metallic object in her hand. It was a silver locket, round, a little dented on one side, like it had been dropped or thrown. One evening, as the sun dipped low behind the city skyline, I found her sitting outside on the apartment's small balcony. She didn't hear me at first. "Beautiful sunset," I said softly. She turned slightly. "It's fading fast." "Everything does." Her tone wasn't bitter, just tired. "Can I ask something?" I said, stepping closer. She nodded. "That day, under the oak tree. You said not to pretend I didn't see you. What did you mean?" She didn't answer right away. Then she opened the locket and showed it to me. Inside was a tiny photograph, a girl about our age, smiling in a yellow dress. "My sister," she whispered. I frowned. "I thought you were Jake's only sister." Her eyes filled with something unreadable. "Half-sister," she corrected quietly. "Her name was Emma. She died last year." I hesitated. "I'm sorry, Lila." She nodded once. "Most people are." I didn't know what to say after that, so I just sat beside her. The city lights blinked below us like restless fireflies. After a while, she spoke again. "I went back to that tree because that's where they found her." The air between us thickened. "She used to go there when she felt lost," Lila continued. "That day, she didn't come back. The police said it was an accident. But I never believed that." Her hands trembled slightly as she closed the locket. Why? I asked softly. Because someone was with her that night, she said, her voice barely a whisper. And nobody ever found out who. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every creak of the apartment sounded like a secret. In the days that followed, I found myself drawn to her, not just out of curiosity, but something deeper, more protective. I wanted to understand her pain, to help her heal. But Lila wasn't easy to reach. Some days she'd laugh with me over coffee, other days, she'd barely speak. Still, slowly, the walls between us began to crumble. One evening, when Jake was away for a business trip, we watched an old black and white film together. Halfway through, she leaned her head on my shoulder. It was the first time she'd let herself rest near someone in what felt like forever. When the movie ended, she whispered, "You make the silence feel safe." I didn't know what to say, so I just held her hand. But peace never lasts long when ghosts are still wandering. 2 nights later, I found a small envelope slipped under my bedroom door. Inside was a photograph, old, grainy, taken near the oak tree. It was Emma. And next to her, Jake. My stomach dropped. On the back of the photo, someone had written in shaky ink, "Ask your roommate where he was the night she died." I stared at it for minutes, trying to breathe. Could Jake really have something to do with this? The next morning, Lila was gone. Her phone left on the kitchen counter, the locket missing. I called Jake, my voice shaking. "Hey, man, where's Lila?" "What do you mean?" She said she was going out for a walk. "Jake, listen," I hesitated, then told him about the photo. He went silent for a long time. Then he said, "Ethan, there's something I never told you." When Jake finally came home, his face was pale. He sat down, buried his face in his hands. "Emma wasn't just my half-sister," he said. "She was my best friend growing up. Lila and I used to fight over everything, but Emma, she kept us together." "So what happened?" I asked. Jake looked up, guilt shadowing his eyes. "The night she died, we had a fight. She found out I'd been seeing one of her friends, a girl she didn't trust. She ran out crying. I followed her, to that tree. I swallowed hard. Then what? She told me to leave her alone. I did. I swear, Ethan, I left. When I came back an hour later, she was gone. They said she slipped into the river." His voice cracked. "Lila's always blamed me." Before I could answer, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. "Lila, meet me by the oak tree. I found something." I looked up at Jake. "She's there. Right now." He stood immediately. "We have to go." The night air was cold when we reached the riverbank. The old oak loomed above us, its branches clawing at the mist. Lila stood there, holding the locket. Her hair whipped in the wind, her eyes wide with both fury and pain. "Don't come any closer," she said. "Lila, please," Jake said, his voice breaking. "You don't understand." "I understand enough," she snapped. "You lied to me for a year." "I didn't kill her," Jake shouted. The words hung heavy in the fog. Lila's hands shook as she opened the locket and pulled out a folded note, water-stained, faded, but still legible. "She left this," Lila whispered. "It was inside the locket all this time." I stepped closer, reading over her shoulder. It said, "I can't take the lies anymore. Jake isn't who you think he is." Jake fell to his knees. "That's not true." She thought I was lying about Mom's inheritance, that's what she meant. I wasn't stealing from her. I was trying to help her pay for college. Lila's tears glistened in the dim light. "Then why didn't you tell me?" "Because every time I tried, you wouldn't listen," he said. "You needed someone to blame, and I let you. I thought maybe if I stayed quiet, you'd heal." For a long moment, none of us spoke. The only sound was the river, whispering secrets too old for words. Then Lila took a deep breath. "I wanted to hate you forever," she said quietly. "But maybe Emma didn't want that." Jake stepped closer, hesitating. "She loved us both." Lila nodded, finally lowering her gaze. "I know. Weeks passed after that night. Lila stayed with us a little longer, not as a ghost haunted by the past, but as someone slowly learning how to breathe again. One morning, she placed the locket on the kitchen table. "It's time," she said. "I'm going back home." I felt a strange ache in my chest. "Will you come back?" She smiled, a real, warm smile this time. "Maybe. When the rain feels like forgiveness." I walked her to the door. She turned once more, her eyes soft. Thank you, she whispered, for seeing me. And then she was gone. I stood there for a long while, staring at the rain beginning to fall again. Sometimes I still hear her words echoing in my mind, not as accusation, but as truth. Don't pretend you didn't see me. Because maybe that's what we all want. Not to be saved, not to be fixed, but simply to be seen.